It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Always love talking to brilliant people, you know? I really do. And I'm telling you right now, John Taffer from Bar Rescue, when it comes to revitalizing businesses, bars, restaurants, the guy is absolutely brilliant. And it was really a pleasure having him on. Joining us right now on the show, we want to talk a little bit about the Wisconsin primary, right? The governor of Wisconsin tried to postpone the primary and extend the period to vote by absentee ballots due to this coronavirus, and Republicans were completely against it. And we're going to talk a little bit about what the court said and what this Robin Voss, who I think is a complete buffoon, what this viral video. The guy's wearing a hazmat suit. He looks like he's in the movie Outbreak, and he's saying, oh, everything's great. Everything's fine. Come out and vote. What a buffoon. Joining us right now on the line is Shaun Gallagher from TMJ4 News in Milwaukee. Give us an update on that. Shaun, I'm sorry, you have big shoes to fill. We just had John Taffer on the show.
Yeah, I can't expect to fill his shoes. I may tell you to shut it down, but yeah.
Fair enough.
I respect that.
So, Shaun, let's start from the beginning here. What did the court say, right? You have the governor of Wisconsin trying to postpone the primary, and Republicans were against it. Give us what did the court say in this situation?
Yeah, essentially, the GOP stepped up and decided that they wanted to go against Governor Evers wanting to try to delay the election, and they came down and agreed with him, just said that, that we can't push back the election despite a pandemic going on.
Gosh, all right. So the city of Milwaukee, as I understand it, has around 600,000 people and should have 180 polling sites. They only had 5 yesterday. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, just 5 polling sites, physical polling sites, and we split it up between me and another reporter yesterday. He was on the north side, I was on the south side. Where I was at, things weren't that bad. People said that it was taking them about 15 minutes, got up to an hour at some point, but everybody seemed to kind of understand. They were being as safe as possible, but still a lot more delayed than maybe they would have expected on a normal election. But over on the north side, it was just mayhem from what I heard and saw. It was taking upwards of 2 hours, over 2 hours in some cases, lines wrapping all the way around blocks and around like football fields and stuff at these high schools where students haven't been in months, and now they're just completely filled with voters trying to do their civic duty.
And are you saying Northside is that kind of the inner city, low income area of Milwaukee?
Usually the central city, north part of our city, that there are lower income folks there, but on the south side as well, there are some low income spots. Where I was at on the south side, one of the fears from a poll official was that he thinks voter turnout was low, and that's why it was running more smoothly, which that's obviously not something they want to see either, but they were trying to tell people it's safe. You can get out here and vote. We're doing this as safely as possible, but they're anticipating very low numbers. So
where you were at, was everybody kind of sticking with the social distancing, the 6 feet thing, and did you see a lot of masks?
I did see a lot of masks. I'd say probably 2/3 to 3/4 of the voters had some sort of mask, whether it was a handkerchief or an actual PPE type mask that they were wearing. And like you said with Robin Voss, I know he's getting a lot of flack for that. I will say all of the poll workers that I saw yesterday were dressed the exact same way. They tell me that was mandatory for them to be dressed in that way.
Let's go with that, Shaun.
Either way, anything about that.
Let's go with that, Shaun. And you understand why this video went viral, and you can tell us who Robin Voss. You can tell us who Robin Voss is, but just so I could set the scene for you, this man is wearing the hazmat suit, so to speak, for lack of a better term. And when he's asked questions about, hey, is it safe? He's saying, everything is great, everything is safe. So I'm sure you understand why people are like, well, wait a second, if it's so safe, then why are you wearing this suit? So talk to me about who Robin Voss is and set the scene and tell us about this viral video and why it went crazy and so many people are viewing it.
Yeah, Robin Voss, he's the speaker here in Wisconsin for the legislature. And, it seemed very tone deaf. I think that maybe why it kind of took off was because this is a guy who was pushing for the election to go on as planned against the governor's wishes. And that then obviously him being covered head to toe, like he's somebody working in a medical facility, that without any context, that looks really bad. And not to defend him, but just to paint a better picture for people to understand that, yes,
Sure.
all poll workers were wearing full outfits like that. And the message he was trying to send was it is safe to come out and vote. But again, I do see where you guys are coming from. A little tone deaf to do it in that way when just a day before he was going against kind of the wishes of many of the people in the public to delay the election.
And by the way, if you want to check out that video, we've posted it on our Twitter page, which is at The Fakest Take. So my next question to you was, did anyone who requested an absentee ballot not get one? Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, quite a few, actually. I know I benefited. My wife and I, we requested our absentee ballots maybe a little over a week ago, like early last week, and we got them in just a few days. I typically vote early because I know Election Day is going to be nuts in this field, so I know I'm not going to be able to get to a polling place myself. So I was able to drop mine off on Sunday, and there were already long lines then of people dropping off absentee and voting early as well. But there are quite a few people who they tried to get their absentee ballot ahead of time. For whatever reason, they didn't get it, and they had to go vote in person just to make sure that they could have their voices heard.
Well, again, long lines are fine as there's social distancing taking place. At that point, it's kind of the same thing as going to Costco or Walmart at the beginning of all this different things. But do you think that the state of Wisconsin should have allowed mail-in voting, considering the fact that Donald Trump, and I'm a Trump supporter, but Donald Trump said, hey, I endorse this justice, and then suddenly there is an issue, and now suddenly they want to have this mail-in voting. Based on the influx and the long lines where they're probably not, based on what you said, practicing social distancing, and we've seen what happened with African Americans dying of the virus across the United States. We've seen how it affects inner city and project housing type of populations. Do you think that maybe that they should have allowed mail-in voting based on all those different circumstances, Shaun?
Yeah, well, I will say from the people that I talk to that probably are more, they're better suited to answer that question than I am. But the poll workers that I talked to and the health officials that I talked to yesterday said that they were very much on the side of not holding the election yesterday. That not only was it bad for their own health and the other poll workers' health, but these people who work election sites, they are very passionate about us having the right to vote and democracy, and they want people to be able to vote. And they're saying it was irresponsible to hold it and that they should have done something to delay the election. But they still came out. They did their civic duty by doing everything they could to try and make this run smoothly. Obviously, It worked in some places better than others, but they didn't believe that it should have been held yesterday, but they still went ahead and did it.
So what was on the ballot? Can you tell us when the results will be in? How long will people have to wait for that?
So at the soonest, April 13th right now. They do have tens of thousands of mail-in ballots and absentee ballots to go through and kind of verify and everything. We're actually have somebody on that today kind of getting a look at what that looks like because this is the most that they've seen absentee ever. So, but they're saying April 13th is the soonest we'll get an idea of what this election will look like.
Got it. Well, Shaun, we really do appreciate you taking some time to join us at such a difficult time. Stay safe yourself, my friend, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
and,
I appreciate it, guys. Shut it down.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Shaun. Appreciate your time, my man. Thanks again.
Thanks a lot, Shaun.
That is Shaun Gallagher from TMJ4 News in Milwaukee talking about this mess of a Wisconsin primary.